In this part of 9.1 day 1, we're going to be using midpoint formula, but a little bit differently. We want to find the endpoint. And I'm going to show you two different ways of going about this. So the first way I like to think of is, well, let's split apart our midpoint formula. So we're going to have our x-coordinate of our midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And our y-coordinate of the midpoint is y1 plus y2 over 2. And we're going to plug in what we know. Well, I have my endpoint here, t, and we're going to be looking for the endpoint s. There's a typo there. So I have my endpoint t, and I have my midpoint m. Let's plug in what we know. Well, for my midpoint, this is my x-coordinate right here. The 2 is my x-coordinate, so that's going to go in for my x-coordinate of my midpoint. Well, it's 2 right here. And then for my endpoint, well, this is my x-coordinate of my endpoint, so I'm going to plug that in for x1. And then I don't know what x2 is. We'll divide that by 2. Now we'll solve. Some of you might like this better if it's cross multiplication. So I do 2 times 2, and then 1 times the numerator there. I end up getting 4 equals 4 plus x2. Solve for x2 by subtracting 4, and we get x2 equaling 0. So that's the coordinate of my endpoint s. So if we're getting our answer over here, s is going to be 0, comma, and we got to figure out y now. Let's do the same thing. Feel free to pause this and try it on your own. For y, my y-coordinate of the midpoint is 9. My y-coordinate of the endpoint is 8. And we don't know what y2 is, so now let's solve. Once again, cross multiplication. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 times the numerator is just the numerator, 8 plus y2. Subtract 8, and we get y2 equals 10. So my answer would be 0, 10. It's an ordered pair. Now we can go about this a different way that many people find a little bit easier. So I'm going to give us some room here. Well, let's draw this out as a line segment. I know that t is 4, 8. M is 2, 9. And we don't know what s is. Well, the midpoint is in the middle, right? So if I go from t to m, I'm moving the same distance as I would go from m to s. Well, from 4 to 2, I'm going down by 2. I'm subtracting 2, so let's subtract 2 again. So 2 minus 2 is 0. So 4 to 2, I'm subtracting 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Same thing with 8. 8 to 9, well, I'm adding 1, so I'm going to add 1 again, and I get 10. As you see, we get the same answer for both of these. This way down here is a lot quicker, and a lot of people like this one. So pick out your favorite method and use that one.